point in case, I saw Colonel Harris once. He hung very close to a soldier who had just come from deployment, and they had lost a lot of folks in the task force. So the soldier came back affected by that. He lost his father a few months later, and a few months later his wife left, and then he got sick, hospitalized. So he hung with him, and he spent a lot of time talking to that soldier, to see if the guy needed to talk to a chaplain or he needed to more professional help. But I guess you learn by watching this, because now I do it in everyday life, not just the military, but I come into contact with civilians and I try to do the same. How you doing? That's a big question. Well, do you really want to know? Yes, I want to know. Tell me, how is life? Talk to me about life. And depending on that answer, you can gauge more or less what that person is, I think. Yeah.
It's such an interesting topic because it kind of, in a way, it kind of flips your image of what someone in the military is really like.
Yes, it has. It's a funny thing you mentioned that, because the role of the military, I think, has changed within one generation. In Vietnam, let's say, you had a mission to seek and destroy, right? And it changed in Kosovo. Our mission was to be that of a mediator and to try to calm both sides. During the original, when General Colin Powell was in charge, and he ordered the forces to withdraw, I mean, that was very, very big, because there was still a lot of soldiers, a lot of officers, a lot of decision makers that thought that we should have destroyed Iraq. He's like, no, we already accomplished our end result, which was to drive Iraq out of Kuwait. We did that, so why decimate them? Why destroy them to the point that we'll be sending them back to the Stone Age? That took a lot of willpower, because you can get carried away, but he didn't. There is a lesson to be learned from that. I personally have been deployed twice. I was deployed during the invasion of Iraq. And I got to tell you, there was a lot of constraint, shown to us by example by the leaders. I remember seeing that. People wouldn't get carried away. If somebody gave up, you take him. He's no longer your enemy. Now he's a prisoner of war. He's got to be treated with dignity, with respect. He's got to be fed. He's got to be given water. He's got to be fed. He's not your enemy anymore. It's not personal. It's just one of those things that happen in life. That could have been easily you. So we are taught to look at that. Also in my second deployment to Afghanistan, I saw a lot of teams, cultural awareness. We were taught not to disrespect them, to respect their religion, to respect them as much as we wanted to be respected. I've seen a shift, and I've seen that all in my lifetime. And I think it's a shift to elevate us in how should I put it? I guess we're becoming, I think, better people. I think. At least I like to think that, because I see that. I have empirical knowledge of this, at least with the group that I was with. What about you? What do you see?
I think we have so many great programs, such as like resiliency training. We have people going to like RTAs, MRT courses to help soldiers.
What are those?
Those are master resiliency and training. So you have a personnel who's put in place to support the commander. These personnel during a drill weekend, for example, their task is to sit down with a group of soldiers and say, basically, this month we're going to try to tackle this issue, whether it's family, spiritual, financial, whatever the issue is for that month. And so, again, these personnel are in place. Commander says, this is what we're going to talk about this month. And so we give a class on these briefings. And this allows us to brief the commanders on the soldier's issue. This allows us to tell the commander, hey sir, these are some of the issues that are affecting the soldiers. How can we go about trying to implement ways to solve some of these problems? How can we go about trying to find programs to help these soldiers? So I think some of these tools are becoming effective because it's something that goes up the chain of command and something that's reported. So the information goes up to say, hey, sir, or hey, ma'am, we have soldiers at this level that needs, better help, not only when we put on uniform, but also when we take off the uniform. Because again, a lot of soldiers, once they take off the uniform, there's a different set of problems that they have to deal with. It has nothing to do with the military. It's just, again, a lot of soldiers, especially in New York Army National Guard, they don't work full time. They just do this 1 week in a month, and so for them, they have to be able to cope with. I do this 1 week in a month. I'm serving my country. However, I still have to take care of my situation. But I think by implementing these programs, allowing leaders to help them is going to not only help the soldier, but it's going to help the unit. It's going to help the military as a whole. So I think I've been in 4 years. I can tell I've seen a major push from when I came in, soldiers' attitudes from when I came in to now. I think there are a lot more programs in place to help young soldiers such as myself who've never been to Afghanistan or Iraq, but have been serving within the Guard and want to continue to serve, because I think that's important, not only having soldiers serve initially, but having a soldier feel like he or she is wanted, having a soldier feel like he or she wants to make a career out of it. I think that's important, but in order to have a soldier feeling that way, you have to give them something to hold on to. It's no longer, well, if you serve 6 years, you get X amount of benefits. Soldiers need more than that. Soldiers need something to hold on to allow them to have that same fuel, that same fire that they had when the 9/11 kicked off. Because as time goes, people's emotions change and how you feel about certain things change. That's just how we are, we're human beings. However, I can say soldiers are proud to serve their country. That I can truly say. So putting a lot of programs in place to help us to continue to want to serve our country, I think is just as amazing. So I like the path that we're on. I think it's a great path. I think it's one that we should not be content with, because it's one we should continue to try to improve upon.